Hello, this is Ben. This is part two of whatever on earth this is, off the cuff audio blog. Yeah, I still don't know what this is gonna be or what it is or whatever, but I'll figure that out later. But yeah, this is the day after that first part, and I gotta admit, after listening to that first part that I made yesterday, I was like, wow, I just sound really down in the dumps. I just feel like I'm in a really dark place. And that's not who I am all the time, I guess you could say. So I am hoping that this entry is going to be a lot more cheerful, a lot sunnier. So yeah, I do apologize if I did sound like I was really like down in the dumps there in a really bad place, which possibly at the time yesterday, sure I was, but that is not who I am, and that's not what I want this entry to be. So I am hoping to be a lot more cheerful for this one. I also noticed that, wow, you could really hear my steps. You could really hear my walking on top of the car's wind and cough yesterday. So if you also hear my steps, that's because I'm walking on pavement. So I do apologize for that in advance. So yeah, I guess this is just a continuation of what I did yesterday. Like I said, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna publish any of these or not. I guess I might. Who knows? I'll figure that out later. But yeah, today's gonna be a lot more cheerful. I'm probably not gonna walk too close to the road because those cars can be annoying. Do apologize for that for the last entry. But yeah, what I was pretty much talking about yesterday was my self-doubt in making a story, like an alternate story for a beloved anime slash manga that a lot of people really do like. And I was just wondering, like, okay, is this going to be good or not? When I eventually realized that, while I was having doubts about that, I eventually came to realize, like, you know what? There are a whole bunch of other stories that, no offense to anyone, I do think are a little bit lackluster, I do think are a little bit not up to par with the story that I think I want to make. And like I said, no offense to those guys. I'm sure you're working your butts off. I'm sure you're working very hard on the stories you've written. I just don't think, I think they're as good, and that's fine. It's just an opinion. Please don't go after me for that. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, they also get praises for that, and they deserve that praise. Don't get me wrong. So I'm thinking, it's like, maybe it's not the quality of the product that I'm too worried about. I eventually found out that is like, I do kind of have so many ideas for the story. I'm scared that I'm gonna forget one, and I'm gonna be like, oh crap, I wanted to implement that in, but it's already done and published, and I didn't have time to rewrite and add that in, and I'm like, dang it. So maybe that's why. Maybe I'm just giving myself a full plate. Maybe I'm giving myself too large of a checklist for that, and that is on me. Sorry about that. But it's like, at the same time, I did learn about this one writing strategy that I do love, and I'm probably going to implement going forward, and I would recommend other people go with that strategy going forward. It's a strategy called layering, and what it is you pretty much write your first draft of the whole story, and trust me, that first draft is going to be utter and complete garbage. And I know that first draft is going to be utter and complete garbage. It's going to be mostly unfinished. It's going to be mostly filled with grammar mistakes probably, and a whole bunch of other narrative problems. But that's fine. That's the first draft. No one has to see it. You can archive it for how far you've come if you wish to, which I probably will. But yeah, it's going to be utter and complete garbage. But like, as you go through more and more drafts, not only are you improving the product, but also what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my first draft completely blind. At least that's probably the strategy I'm going to go with. Who knows? But I'm going to write my first draft completely and totally blind. And then I'm going to review over some more references. Like, I then might binge the series. I then might read the book, or like the manga, I should say. And then probably do like the second draft, or maybe by that time the third draft, who knows, and then watch some other fan-made, well, not watch, but like read some other fan-made stories on some fan blogs and get some ideas there. and then do like 4th, 5th, more stories, maybe binge the series again, and then 6th, 7th, like, and I'm not saying you have to like reach like double digit amounts of drafts or whatnot, because some people just don't operate like that. But it's like, I don't care how many drafts it takes. Hell, it might reach double digits, I don't know, and frankly I don't care. But it's like, not only do I think that makes the whole process more fun, I think that makes the whole process a lot less stressful, because it's like, okay, here is what I want the overall theme or message or story to be like, and then over time I'm starting to add in more details, add in more moments that I like, and make sure that it fits and whatnot. And that way I can get as much ideas as I want to in there as possible, and it doesn't feel like I'm straining myself. It doesn't feel like I'm being overwhelmed. It doesn't feel like the product's going to get diluted, or, like I said, it doesn't feel like the story is good enough or whatnot, because I made sure I had multiple opportunities to make sure that I had every idea I wanted in there. I had every opportunity to make sure that the quality is good and up to snuff and whatnot. So, yeah, I think that strategy is what I'm going to go with going forward. Yeah, like I said, I hope this entry is a lot more cheerful than yesterday, because holy cow, that was a downer. And I do apologize for that, but like I said, this is more off the cuff stuff. I am hoping to get better, feel better at all this. It is still mighty cold. It is still December. Yep, like I said, Christmas is coming up. Dating this entry still. Woohoo. But yeah, I also learned that I also watched some other videos about how to deal with self-doubt, how to deal with stress on that level at least. And I eventually came to recognize that while this is a story that I am proud of, and it is my story to tell, it is still a story. And what happens if I, quote unquote, fail at making a good story? Well, first of all, I'm not doing this for a paycheck. I'm just doing this for fun. I'm just doing this for me. So if it's, even with all these, 10 drafts and whatnot, and people still might not appreciate it, or people still might not like it, they're going to give me feedback, hopefully kindly, but they are going to give me feedback on what they wanted or what I think I should have done. And that's going to make the product better eventually, if I do eventually want to publish it for something, maybe, I don't know. But it's if I don't get that story out there, I'm never going to know how good I am. And I think that's really what's the issue here. It also kind of felt like, and I also noticed this in my previous entry, I also kind of felt like I was making excuses as to why this whole process would not be fun. Oh, I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't know if I'm going to get every idea in there. It's I was almost giving myself too many steps, giving myself too large of a checklist. And that kind of inadvertently put pressure on me to make a good product and whatnot. But then I found this really good analogy. It's why do some people at least not like going to the gym? Because it feels like they're giving themselves too many steps and whatnot. But why do people love going to the beach? There's really only 2 steps: get in your car, go, and enjoy yourself. Well, 3, but you get my point. Why can't some people do that for the gym? Just get in your car, go, and just work out. It's only 3 steps. It's like going to a restaurant. You just get in your car, go, and order and eat. That might be 4 steps, but you get my point. Why was I making it so difficult on myself to simply write a story that I have a lot of confidence in? Really, it's just sit down, boot the computer up, and type away. And especially if it's that first draft where there's absolutely no pressure whatsoever. If anything, it's the building blocks of how far you've come, not only as the story progresses, but as you as a writer. Why can't I just sit down and just get started when there's absolutely no pressure on me whatsoever? And that really got me thinking, is like, why am I giving myself more steps? Why am I giving myself into those nasty voices every time? I don't know why. But I do feel a lot better about this whole process. I do apologize that the previous entry was not as cheerful as it probably could have been, especially for a first entry. But like I said, it was more off the cuff. It was more just like, okay, where do I start? How do I get started? And sometimes it leads you down to a dark place, especially if you're trying to get out of it. So, yeah, like I said, I do apologize if it's windy. I do apologize if there's planes in the background as well. I forgot about that. But yeah, this is just, I don't know what this is, but this is just me spewing my thoughts. Maybe someone will listen, maybe they won't, I don't know. But it is nice to just get it out there. So, yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing better. No need to worry. I do appreciate any feedback if you wish to give me any. But yeah, this is just me spewing my thoughts out there, and I'm glad I got that off my chest, because I do feel like I have some really cool ideas. Granted, you could argue some of those ideas do kind of go off the rails, kind of go into the shark jumping aspect of it, but then again, what series are we talking about? You'd be surprised if that doesn't start happening eventually. But yeah. I'm just walking back and forth on my driveway here. Don't really know what else to talk about. I would spew some of these ideas to you guys, but I kind of want the story to reveal that to you. I guess that puts incentive on me to actually get the thing going, because if I'm not gonna give you any of my ideas here, I might as well put them in the actual story and actually put it on the blog that I want to put it on. Gives me incentive to actually get that sucker done. Not a bad strategy in the long run. But yeah, I'm just out here freezing my butt off, just trying to get my thoughts and feelings out there for all that. The new Avatar movie is coming out this weekend, and oh, that's gonna be hectic. I do hope it's good. I have not seen it yet. A lot of people I know, a lot of people I've talked to who has been able to see it, they do say it is good. Certainly hope so. I wonder how much money it'll make. Will it beat its predecessor? Will it beat Endgame at the box office? As of this recording, we don't know. But I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. Well, yeah, I honestly don't know what else to go off of here. Like I said, I do apologize for my cough here. Seems like it got worse than yesterday. Do apologize for that, but But yeah, honestly, that writing strategy, just layering, just do multiple drafts of one long story and then just work at it from there. And that also gives people incentives to think, hey, the second draft doesn't have to be perfect either, because that probably would have been a mistake that I would have made. It's like, okay, yeah, the first draft can be absolute garbage, but by the second time, yeah, it does have to be perfect. I'm like, no, not even the third draft is going to be perfect. Hell, the fourth draft might not even be good. You kind of do have to do maybe 5 or more, sorry, in order for it to start to be in the correct direction that you want it to go in. And yeah, there are, a lot of people already know this, but there are kind of two different types of riders. There's planners, and then in the riding community they call it pantsers, which is riding off the seat of your pants. I personally am a planner. Yeah, I know. Bring all the heat you want, but like that's just my riding preference. But yeah, I am a planner, and I think the reason I do prefer riding that way is because I do think planners are much better at building build-up or creating build-up to certain events and moments that they really like a lot. And I do think they are better at foreshadowing, which I do think is a narrative device I love doing. I also really enjoy like repetitive themes or recurring themes. And it's not like pantsers can't do this either. I just feel like planners are able to do this a lot better. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. But that's just my thoughts and feelings as of this recording. So, sorry about that. Someone just surprised me. So, I bet you that exhale made me sound really scared. That must have been pretty funny. Well, let that be an ongoing joke, ongoing meme. I did not expect that to happen. My apologies. But yeah, like I said, I do think planners are better at like foreshadowing and build up, which is narrative elements I do really like. And it's not like off the cuff moments, well, like this vlog, it's not like off the cuff moments like something's suddenly happening. It's not like they're bad or anything. I just do think that the potential tonal shift from like a really happy moment to a really sad moment and vice versa can be a little bit jarring to me personally, at least. Like I said, if you're into that, that is 100% fine. More power to you. Like what you like. I'm not here to judge absolutely anyone. But like I said, I do kind of like tonal transitions. I do kind of like narrative transitions, if you want to call it that. I'm not the biggest fan of like these sudden shifts. Like I said, if they work well, they work well. And they can be done very well. I'm not saying that it can't work at any time, because it does work a lot of the time. But that's just not my preference. And that's fine. If you do like that, like I said, more power to you. Like what you like. But yeah. I guess I don't know what much else to talk about out here. You're probably wondering what made me surprised a couple minutes ago. That was just my dad opening up the garage door to head into the house. I did not expect him to be home already, so that kind of made me jump out of my shoes there, as you probably heard. But yeah, like I said, I'm doing much better. I do have some not only motivational strategies but narrative strategies and writing strategies to implement going forward. Sometimes you just need to have faith in you and your product, that at least someone is willing to acknowledge that, hey, it's good enough for my attention. And I've also given this some hypothetical question to myself. I should probably ask it to more people, but I have sometimes asked myself, would you rather mildly entertain thousands of people or genuinely inspire one? And I've given that a lot of thought. And for a lot of people, it's actually a lot tougher question to answer. Would you rather mildly entertain a stadium of people that by the time the product's over, they're like, yeah, that was fun, and by the time they exit the theater or stadium or whatever it is, that they've kind of already forgotten the product by the time they've woken up the next day, or by the time they even get to their car and whatnot? Because don't get me wrong, I do mildly enjoy those kinds of products. But at the same time, it may be only one person, but if you can genuinely and in a good way change the trajectory of someone's life, or just change someone's life for the better, even if it's just one person, the amount of satisfaction that you get that you were able to do that is just so immense, to me at least. And I do hope that maybe one day one of my products will do that, because that's what all of my favorite stories have done. One of my favorite movies, well, if anything, my favorite movie, taught me that it's okay to have fun with a stupid premise. One of my favorite books pretty much talks about, even in the most hard and enduring times, hope still flourishes. Even if it's just one person keeping it alive, it will still flourish. Another one of my favorite works is, even if the story kind of doesn't matter in the long run, even if it's not quote-unquote canon to the bigger picture anyway, you can still have fun with a character. You can still have fun with a premise. You can still have fun with a relationship that you have created and make it the best possible iteration of that premise, of that idea. And hey, maybe the story will be even better than the canonical work itself, in which, in my opinion, I think it is. And that's not to say that I don't think that the canonical works is bad. It is. It is good. It is good. But sometimes fans have an idea that just wasn't thought of, or just wasn't conceived at the right time, and that idea can flourish into something so much greater. Some birds are out tonight. But yeah, maybe I should just rewatch that movie, or reread that book, or reread that piece, get that spark back into me again. Because sometimes when you're in need of motivation, the product that put that motivation in you to begin with will always be right there, and for some people is always accessible. go ahead and watch or read or listen to it again. And most likely that spark will come back, which is what I'm hoping with me. Yeah. A riding strategy, a motivational strategy. Wanting to rewatch and reread some of my classics and favorites. Yeah, I might do that really soon. Or I might have to wait until after Christmas or wait until after New Year's or whatever to let that happen. Who knows? I do thank you for whoever's listening this deep into the conversation, if you want to call it that. I do thank you for your patience. I do thank you for your time. This is just a guy on his driveway just rambling on about his problems. Who wants to listen to that, honestly? But I do thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to this. But yeah, I certainly do hope this was a lot more cheerful than the previous one. So, well, I might just leave it here, but if anything else comes to mind in the next few minutes, I might talk about that, but nothing seems to be coming to mind, per se. Well, like I said, I do thank you for listening to part 2 of whatever on earth this is. Whether or not I'll continue doing this is still kind of up in the air. Oh, that's pretty. That's very pretty. A whole flock of birds, at least like 200 birds, just flew over part of the road there. Looked really nice. But yeah, I might just end it there for today. Thank you all so much for listening. Whether a part 3 or whatever will come out soon is up in the air, but yep, this has been. Thank you for listening to this off-the-cuff disaster of a audio blog, but I do thank you for listening, and have a fantastic day.